How's it going, YouTube? This is Ben Gessel. I know I've been a little shy, maybe. Haven't shown my face for a bit. And recently shaved again, but I don't always like to shave every day. I might change that in the future. Who knows? Um, I have a lot of things in my mind. If I don't get to them all tonight, hopefully tomorrow. Um, my schedule, by the way, does feel a little bit better, a little bit more manageable. Got a few new students, some new horn students. Um, but yeah, I have a few things to mention maybe. Um, I'll try to keep each of these thoughts separated in different videos. The first train of thought I think I have is today I've been trying to just sort out some, maybe I'd say emotional things or maybe social things, or just trying to um, a lot of things like that, I guess. And um, this is going to have some relation to one of the earlier videos I made about some leaders of my church coming to speak in Seattle, because I talked about this sort of thing a little bit. I'm going to ask for you guys' I don't know. I'm not sure if I use the word prayers, but yeah, maybe patience, maybe understanding, because some of what I might say may be a bit sensitive. We'll see. So, I'll try to speak mainly about things in my own life, and try not to talk too much about what I've seen or I've felt increasingly from other folks. Perhaps that might put the ball more in my ballpark, rather than having anybody watching this feel judged. I'll put it that way. But it just so happens to me that I'm not necessarily saying this is even an age-related thing so much, in some respects, but I keep asking myself, for many people out there, and this is I'm pointing my finger right back at myself here. Kind of how do we what do we think is healthy socialization, healthy levels of socialization? What how do we allow ourselves to meet new people, depending on our circumstances, depending on our life, a lot of things that are going on in our lives, whether we're married or single, and that's going to change some things. But yeah, what kind of socializing are we doing, and is it healthy or unhealthy? And what kinds of things are we expecting or not expecting from other people? It's hard sometimes to meet awesome, great people, especially if you're not in college, and especially even if you are in college. Some colleges are just much more brutal that way. But aside from that train of thought, just meeting new people, mostly if you're, past, I guess, 18 or ish, you'd probably consider, if you're single, you're probably considering something romantic, potentially. But there's kind of a lot of, we'll say what I'm getting at is a little bit more is the online flirting thing, and it's the expectations that another person that can't see your face or can't hear your voice can understand you, and all of the little things that make you you, and that expectation that we should just be automatically understood. But yet we still expect to have anonymity because we don't, whatever, you fill in the blank. But I'm going to ask again, myself included, all of us, is this a healthy thing? I mean, is it spiritually healthy? Is it good? Is it going to help us be happier? Because what helps us be happier is the same thing as what is actually righteous. It's the same thing. It is. Otherwise, all the things that are ever said in religion are basically meaningless if the goal is anything other than being as happy as we possibly can be. That's what it means. And what prevents us from being happier? Okay. Yeah, maybe think about that one, for a bit. But, just had some experiences where, keep having experiences where there's an expectation from someone that I should somehow understand them and read between the lines online and get little things that they mean. And there's no voice, there's no picture, there's no way of knowing that someone's joking or being serious or even who they say they are. So, I think we do value sometimes online communication for a lot of respects. I mean, maybe, who knows, but is it, if we are really being ourselves, and we're not being, someone else, I think it's important to just consider the fact that there are other people out there that can't, read our minds. And so we do need to be very clear about everything that we want to communicate online, to the point of being actually a bit overly verbose at times. For instance, if I'm just throwing this out there, if you actually do have some person, we'll say a young woman who likes a young man, or at least what they guess is not a young man online, right? If there's something they like in that person, and they want to flirt online, right? So there's always these little emojis and things, and that's the whole emoji industry is really kind of big into that sort of thing. But that young man, what it's hard enough when you're younger, especially, to try to make sense of what young women are trying to communicate. But imagine how much harder that is to do online. And so maybe this young man is like, oh, she's pretty cool. I'll be cutesy back and stuff. Let's hope that works out. I mean, you always hope things that are good work out. Absolutely, but whatever, but whenever it comes to that. But how often is it the case, though, that you have miscommunication in real life? And just consider how much higher of a possibility you have of miscommunication online or something like this. So that's one of the reasons why I do videos. So you can get more of an idea of my personality, my voice, me, right? Yeah. There's a lot of things you can't know about, you just don't know about someone unless you have videos. And so perhaps do I need to expect that other people have videos that, you get kind of see what they're coming from a bit more? Should I expect someone to do that before I consider anything more than just some online acquaintance? Maybe. Wouldn't it be so much better if we just did things the old-fashioned way? But I know for a lot of people it's very unpleasant. So, I'll keep this not too long with this video. We all have our comfort zones, and they sometimes can change over time based on things that happen in their lives. I think, though, that if you see something in someone, sense something in someone online, whatever it is, whether it's good or bad, whether it's interesting or funny or whatever, there's something you can really do that. You can sometimes really sense that, but it's so much better in person, of course. But what am I trying to say here? If you do something about someone, I think there's something that could be a very real thing. So especially so long as you have some kind of video along with whatever someone's saying. Yeah. So there's some things I have never done my entire life. I haven't. Well, I'll mention just a few of them here, but there's a lot of things. So there's one thing I never do. I've been to maybe kind of a nicer bar, maybe only a few times in my entire life. It's always been with, like, when I was at Central Washington University, I remember going to kind of a nicer bar and just having dinner there. And then, I've never met any women at bars. Right? I've been to maybe like two dances in my entire life that were not LDS church dances, and they were different. I tried to enjoy myself. In one case, it was not a church-related, it was not a school-related event. It was just some other dance hall I went to with some friends. And then in another instance, it was a school-related event. I was asked to a prom kind of thing when I was in community college and whatever, by someone doing Running Start or something. It was, anyway, so there are a lot of things that I don't do that have been considered normal, I guess you could say, but again, just as much as I try to do what's right and live my religion, I'm very aware of the fact that there are a lot of things that someone might consider to be not normal that might mean something different than being unethical or evil. It's a different kind of thing. For instance, I don't know, I think if I were to go to the library one of these days and just see someone very attractive, and also had other qualities maybe that I thought were very attractive, but not necessarily, I don't know, there's all kinds of different dimensions to being attractive or attractiveness, or I just thought they were pretty, whatever. I wanted to talk to this person, and a lot of guys try to do this. This is just FYI, we try to look for the wedding ring, right? We do. Why do you think that would be? Of course, because we want to make sure someone's available to whatever, date. If it's a good thing to have on your finger, ladies. If you don't have your wedding ring on your finger and you're married, what the heck are you doing? unless you're doing something anyway. Okay, so it's very okay to meet someone at a library. Maybe that's a good thing for me to do. I don't know. But the thing is it's always a question of, how would someone respond to your wanting to say hi and talk? And libraries are sometimes places where you want to just be by yourself. Don't you notice that increasingly in this life, though, in this modern age you live in, everyone wants to be left alone. At least where I live, in this cold-hearted Seattle freeze kind of area, not a whole lot of really friendly people. It makes you kind of miss the Mountain West a little bit, or maybe other places I could go to. I don't know. But there's nothing wrong with meeting someone in the library. I usually look for, what are they reading? Is it something I think is pretty cool? Or how would you strike up a conversation with a total stranger, right? And, that could go very well or it could be not so well. And how do you save face if it doesn't go so well? Meeting someone in the library, especially not college library, if you're not a college student with the other person, it's not as easy as you might think. So it'd have to be sometimes someone that I think would be rather attractive for me to even want to do that. I'm saying these things because is it better to try to meet someone in the library than you name it, you fill in the blank. If you can't meet some great people there, then where do you meet good people? And if you don't meet people in bars, you can go from place to place to place, situation to situation. I think you should be able to get the gist of what I'm saying. I'm saying this for all people, not just myself, that have more introverted personalities, that want to meet more ethical people, good people, that don't want to, whatever. Don't want to spend a lot of money on dumb dating sites. I wish, young women, that you would make it easier. Some of you guys make it easier. If you meet a great person right off the bat and get married, awesome. A lot of times it doesn't work out so well. But I think this is a subject that some of you guys should be thinking about quite a bit more. Yeah, I'll put it that way. I might wrap up this video about here, but this all being said, when I get messages, unless they're pretty clearly friendly or nice or kind or whatever, if they're kind of more cryptic, or if they're kind of walking a line between friendliness and not so being friendly, regardless of who the person is and whatever, being cryptic online is kind of defeating the whole. It's like a double whammy. You have the online anonymity, and then you also have the fact that you're being cryptic. Now, I can't make you guys be other ways of being. All I can say is something isn't right about that whole way of being. So again, I mentioned at this outset, I knew some of this stuff wouldn't be very pleasant to hear, but I would try to be considerate about it. So I know whatever things I have going on, that I'm working on, I know the people out there that have it 100 times as bad as I do, or have, far more anxieties than I have. So, don't you think we just should be a little bit more patient with each other, a little bit more for real? All right, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.